you all about getting a side job while on a working visa here in Japan. Not having a clear understanding of the guidelines can affect your work visa renewal, and worse, you will not be able to stay in Japan. For example, a foreign language teacher working under an engineer, specialist in humanities, international services, visa is permitted to work part-time in another language school or even take a private lesson for a fee. Since all job matches the work visa qualifications, working these jobs side by side won't be a problem. Hello everyone, this is Shane from Swimmy channel. Foreign residents under the work visa status in Japan are subject to various rules when working in Japan. Some foreigners may want to look for ways to earn some extra money by getting a side job. And so, for today's video, I will explain to you all about getting a side job while on a working visa here in Japan. First off, yes, getting a side job on a working visa is very possible. However, not having a clear understanding of the guidelines can affect your work visa renewal, and worse, you will not be able to stay in Japan. So in this video, we will explain to you thoroughly about the rules and the necessary procedures, plus answer frequently asked questions related to doing side jobs while under the working visa. And if you are keen on getting a side job in the near future, this video is for you. And kindly watch until the end. So, what is a working visa? Working visa is the status of residence that allows you to stay and work in Japan. Depending on the type of occupation, there are 16 types of work visa in Japan. This visa is a requirement for foreigners who are working in Japan. If the side job falls under the same visa type, there is no problem in having a side job in addition to your main one if both jobs belong to the same industry. For example, a foreign language teacher working under an engineer, specialist in humanities, international services, visa is permitted to work part-time in another language school or even take a private lesson for a fee. Since all job matches the work visa qualifications, working these jobs side by side won't be a problem. Although, work visas limit the type of work one can engage in, there is no fixed number of company or working hours. If the side job does not fall under the same visa type, for example, a cook who is working under skilled labor visa is not permitted to work part-time as a language instructor. Even if you do private lessons independently, as long as you get any monetary compensation for it, it will be considered as an activity outside your visa. Special permits are not required for one-time paid projects, as long as it is not continuous work. However, if you intend to work outside your visa status on a continuous basis, you need to apply for permission for part-time job or Shikkakugai Katsudokyoka Shinsei, with the permission to engage in activity other than the permitted under the status of residence previously granted or Shikkakugai Katsudokyoka Sho application form. In other words, as long as there's no monetary gain from an activity outside your work visa, even volunteering work will not be a problem. What applications do I need to do so that I can do side jobs outside my work visa? Now, let me explain in details about the required applications for doing side job permitted outside the work visa. You will need to apply for the permission for part-time job or Shikkakugai Katsudokyoka Shinsei. By the way, this application is not only for side jobs but generally for any activities you'd want to carry outside your visa qualifications. When you apply and receive an application for permission for an activity other than your status, you will be issued with a permit for activity other than status and can therefore be able to start doing your side jobs. How to apply for permission to do part-time job? Below are the procedures in applying for permission to do part-time job. 1. Application for permission to engage in activity other than that permitted under the status of residence previously granted. Application form or Shikkakugai Katsudokyoka Shinsei Sho. 2 is passport. 3 is residence card. You can get the application form directly from the Immigration Bureau office or simply download it from the office website. The information to be filled out includes name, address, date of birth, and other basic information, as well as the current status of residence. The application form requires details of the workplace where you intend to do a side job, job description, and other basic information of the application. And so, sending an application form is not made solely for the purpose of doing side jobs, but after you have already decided on the specific workplace of the side job. Application is very easy, so anyone can complete the application smoothly. Main job under the working visa as the primary, side job as the supplementary. There are some restrictions when you need to know when doing supplementary work on top of the main job. These restrictions are the following. 1. Must not interfere with the work visa activities. 2. Must continue doing the main job activities. And 3. Supplementary job must not be simple and skilled labor jobs. Let's take a closer look at these restrictions. There are also some limitations to the permission to engage in activity other than that permitted under the status of residence or permission to do part-time jobs. Applications for permission to engage in activities other than those granted are not always accepted. There is a screening period from the shortest time of 2 weeks to the longest time of 2 months. At the time of screening, the Immigration Bureau mainly checks if there are any ongoing issues with the current status or if the conditions of the permissions for non-qualifications are being met. Please see below the 3 conditions under which a non-working visa may be permitted to perform a second job. 1. Must not interfere with work visa activities or the main job. First condition for permitting non-qualified activities or for doing a side job is that the main job should always be the priority and would not get affected in any way. 2. Must continue doing the main job. Second condition is to continue the main job, where the visa sponsorship is from. If you quit your main job and your side job becomes your main job, before you know it, you will end up working illegally. And so, at all costs, the main job should be continued and the side job should only be an additional source of income. 3. Supplementary jobs must not be simple and skilled labor jobs. At present, foreigners in Japan are not allowed to do simple labor and skilled jobs. Simple labor jobs includes cash registry at the supermarkets or convenience stores, wait staffs at the restaurant, cleaning, and etc. Jobs that do not allow you to obtain a work visa are not allowed. Now, let's take a look at the common questions being asked by foreigners regarding side jobs. Number 1. Can foreigners on a working visa do side jobs after quitting a job? Well, foreigners on a working visa in Japan are required to find work immediately within 3 months of quitting a job. If you do not work for more than 3 months and remain unemployed, your work visa will be revoked of having deemed to have no intention of finding re-employment. On the contrary, your visa is still valid for 3 months even after quitting a job. Therefore, you can do a side job within this period. Number 2. Is it okay for foreign students to work part-time? Well, if a foreign student wants to work part-time, he can do so by applying for the application for permission for non-qualification activities. Please note, however, that foreign students are allowed to work only 28 hours per week or up to 40 hours per week during school breaks. Number 3. Is it possible for foreigners to start a business or do side business? In order for a foreigner to start a business in Japan, he must apply for the Business Management Visa. If your main business is company management and you have a foreigner who has a business management visa, or those who have no restrictions in their residence status, for example, a permanent resident or spouse or child of a Japanese national can start a business as a side business. But foreigners with other visas will find it difficult to set up a side business. This is because there is no good record of business management being recognized as a content of activities other than the qualifications, and is thought to be difficult in the future as well. 4. What are the risks in violating the work visa restrictions? If you do not get a permission for doing activities doing outside your work visa and continue doing the side job, you will be subjected to the cancellation of your work visa as a penalty. And in the worst case scenario, you will be deported and you will not be able to enter Japan for the next 5 years. There is also a risk of losing your main business due to the breaking regulations. So be sure to perform formal procedures before you perform non-qualified side jobs. And that's it for today's topic. Thank you for watching until the end. This time, we explain in detail about doing side jobs in Japan, While under the working visa, were you able to understand everything? There's no problem for doing side jobs as long as you meet the work visa qualifications. And if you wish to work outside of your work status, you will need to apply for permission in order to do so. In addition, it is important to follow the guidelines, such as the side job must not interfere with the work visa activities, and that the main job must be continued, and lastly, the side job must not be an unskilled or simple job. Violating these conditions at worst would mean being deported, so please be careful. Finding a permanent job in Japan and part-time job in Japan may be a challenge, especially for foreigners. However, please take note of these restrictions and requirements as guidelines to help you understand the Japanese law better. We would love to hear from you. If you have any further questions about our topic today or would want to know more, please do not hesitate to post on the comment section below. We are also accepting video requests, so if there's anything you want to watch, please mention that as well. If you like our videos and would want to watch more in the future, please subscribe to our channel and tell your friends about us too. Thank you, and so until our next video, bye bye!